what a finish. I mean, as much as you expect from test matches, this series has just been amazing. England versus Australia, Ashes 2023. Australia leading 2-0 at the start of the series. England at Manchester played amazing. The match was washed out because of rain, where England looked certain to win the match. And then the comeback. Last two matches, two victories for England. What an amazing season this has been. Some amazing cricket. What are your thoughts about the game today?
Amazing, yeah. What a series, what a test match. I think one of the very, very best Ashes series I have seen. And we knew that this is going to be an interesting series, exciting series, because Australia was the WTC winner. They had beaten India convincingly before this Ashes started. But you know how dangerous England is at home, especially with the Stokes and McCullum, the entire baseball approach. We saw it right from the first test with Stokes declaring early on the first day itself when Root was batting, losing that test match. Matlab, yaar, so many iconic moments across. Then 2-0, England winning the third match, 2-1, fourth match getting washed out. And today, just when you thought that Australia will win this, will chase the score after the brilliant start that the openers got, the England bowlers got them back. Yeah. So,
Exactly.
what a match. Loved this series.
And again, I think just to remind our viewers, England at the start of play today, Australia were at around 135 for 0. They had not lost a wicket. Brilliant batting by Khwaja and Warner yesterday, and it looked like Australia were in complete command. It looked like a good batting wicket, and they just continue to roll on. I know at one point of time Australia was 264 for 3. Head and Smith
And
were batting so
Smith
well.
was batting then, yeah. Once Smith is batting, you know you will win this. But I think that partnership broke. Marsh got out, Smith got out, and that is when England bowlers were back.
I mean, think about it. At 264, you need around 120 runs. You have 7 wickets in hand, and it just looked certain that Australia will just take this game away so easily. Head batting so comfortably, Smith batting so comfortably. But once that wicket fell, that one partnership breakthrough by Vokes, and we'll talk about how good Vokes has been throughout this series since he's come. But again, a brilliant performance by him. And then I think just as they got that whiff of that one wicket, as soon as that first wicket fell, I think so, England were all over Australia.
Head got out, Smith got out, Marsh got out, and just those wickets. And then Stark and Cummins also got out early. But amazing bowling by Vokes and Moeen Ali to get those breakthroughs. And amazing catching. Yeah. Matlab, I think Bairstow, brilliant catch by Root, brilliant catch by Crawley. And that's the quality of this England attack. Today, Anderson didn't even bowl. Like he bowled 4 overs throughout the day. And he's looked off rhythm in this entire series. I'm not saying he's looked at his best. Although he said he wants to continue playing more, bowling more. A legend. I think the second fast bowler to cross 600 wickets, Stuart Broad, 604 wickets. We knew it was his last day today. Brilliant player for England. And hit a six off his final ball, took a wicket off his final ball. What an end, yeah. What an amazing end.
Certainly, and you could see, with Broad, it has always been about that josh that he brings in. He put every inch of effort that he had today. Amazing spell of bowling to get rid of those two players in the end, because England had seen Cummins had won them a game with 8 wickets down. Australia had made 50 odd runs from the last 2 wickets last in one of the games, and
In the
Broad
first
coming
test,
in.
it had happened, Malab.
Yeah, and the way Broad came in just to get those 2 wickets. Carey was batting on one end, so it was important they did. And when Todd Murphy was batting with Carey, it looked like Australia might again get away with it. But again, brilliant bowling by Broad, and how good has he been throughout the series? 22 wickets with it in the 5 matches he's played. How good has he been at an age of 36, 37? This is what you would want from your top class bowler. 604 wickets to end his career. What are your thoughts about Broad?
Amazing career, yeah. Malab. Only five players have crossed 600 test wickets, three spinners, Shane Warne, Muralitharan Kumble, and the two England legends, Anderson and Broad. Broad has taken Adhiraj 150 plus Ashes wickets. Pat Cummins said that Broad loves playing against Australia. We've seen it in this series. We thought that this is probably the last time we'll see Broad and Anderson bowling together. And there were higher chances of Anderson announcing retirement earlier than Broad. Not to be, Anderson has said, I'll continue playing. Broad, just on the fourth day when he was batting with Anderson, said that. it is going to be my last test match, and he ends it on an amazing, amazing high. So what a bowler, what an amazing server for England cricket.
Certainly, and I think it's so good to see him. He knew that he wants to go out on a high. He got that wicket. He got those runs. That six that he hit, as you mentioned, got that wicket. Perfect ending, the fairy tale ending. He's gone out on a high. One of his best performances of Ashes, 22 wickets in this series. And it just makes it so much better than retiring at a time when you're playing some odd test match somewhere or the other. Probably going for a milestone or something of that sort. But so good for Broad to come out and give up that time, because if you see what England has now in store, without these bowlers also, obviously these players being there in the squad always help them. But look at that depth, and we're gonna talk about this specific thing. What changed after those two matches? The changes that England made. They brought in Wood, they brought in Wokes. Moeen Ali has obviously came back from the injury, and these are the three changes. If you see how big the impact these players have put with it,
And then
Chris Woke
another
has
thing
come out
was
here.
Nathan Leon also getting injured after the second match because he is has been Australia's main bowler, 100 consecutive tests, gets injured in his 100 test, and then in the fourth test, Australia doesn't play a spinner. They play Marsh and Green both. Fifth test, they drop Green, get Todd Murphy back. So Nathan Lyon was the player or the bowler who used to bowl continuous 30 overs, 25 overs regularly for Australia. He gets injured. England batters have an advantage. Definitely not to take anything away from what Vokes and Wood did and what the England batters did. But I think just Nathan Lyon getting injured after the second test tilted the balance in favor of England a bit.
I
And
think that the biggest part was obviously, like you talked about. I mean, missing Lion is like Australia obviously doesn't have any other specialist spinner. If you see who's played that long for Australia, Todd Murphy has been there recently. Was our time से नहीं खेले हैं Australia के लिए, but that obviously helped England. But after that Manchester Test specifically, the way England came out in that Manchester Test,
the
and even before
Manchester
that,
test was the fourth one. Third test was not
yeah,
Manchester.
sorry, not the Manchester Test. I think the third one was at Headingley. Then I'm not sure, but that Test match is what got washed off with. I mean, most importantly, I think so. And before that, the way England looked, and even from the few matches before, अगर आप देखें कि it was all close matches. ऐसा नहीं था कि Australia was completely winning out. I mean, Cummins winning that game with 2 wickets remaining. It always looked that England had that upper hand. They were doing good. They looked very good. And I think it was always कि वो एक सेशन में मैच हार रहे थे इंग्लैंड. And with Lyon not being there, I think that tilted the favor England's favor. But again, those changes in the bowling, अगर आप वोक्स को देखें, because वो bowling के साथ साथ बैटिंग भी लाते हैं. Moeen being a very key role, and Mark Wood, those spells, that fiery bowling that they were missing. How good have the changes been for England?
I think dropping Anderson for the third test was a very, very bold move for England. He had been off colour. Fourth test was Manchester Test, his home ground. They brought him back, but they dropped Ollie Robinson. They got Wokes. They got Wood. Wood, not the fittest of bowlers. Today also had a sore heel. Didn't bowl too much, but once he gets going, that raw pace, bowling in over consistently of 150 plus in a test match, hitting some runs. Wokes also hitting runs, taking the crucial wickets. I think a perfect bowling. They got Josh Tongue for one match, then they removed him, removed Ollie Robinson. So some bold calls taken by both the teams. Australia also benched Scott Boland after the first test, and Scott Boland was the pick of the bowlers in the WTC final. Then they got Hazelwood in, stuck with Hazelwood, Stark, and Cummins. Cummins played all five tests, and Broad played all five tests. No other pacer has played all five tests. Anderson played four, Stark played four, Hazelwood played four, and we've seen the impact that Vokes and Wood had in just three test matches. But England's approach all across has been very aggressive. आप उनके scoring run rate देखो, scoring at 5 plus every session. And what an entertainment for test cricket. It's not just you hitting, trying to hit every ball, but you see Root, reverse scooping, Pat Cummins consistently, man. मतलब, and see, Root, Pujara, Williamson, all these are great players. But I think this attacking mindset has just put Root way above par than any other player in my eyes. And even at the end, Australia had to name their player of the series from England side. They picked Root, and England had to do that. And they picked Stark. But there's so many questions raised on Stark's bowling, on his economy. He's going for runs, off rhythm. and he picks 23 wickets in 4 test matches. What more do you need? Vokes has struggled outside England, but in England in this series, both with the bat and ball, so good, so good for them. Today also 4 wickets. He would have continued bowling had it not been Broad's last test. Stokes took an emotional call, and Broad did pay off. He took the last 2 wickets, but had it not been Broad's test match, Vokes had a very good chance of taking another 5 for today.
Certainly. And let's come quickly to the two batsmen I think who shown really. I mean, there's been a lot of great batting, like you mentioned. This whole series, everyone has kind of contributed. It's not, it's not that someone is scoring consistently three, 400s, and they are doing the bulk of the scoring. Everyone in one match or the other has scored runs. May it be Root, Brooks, Labuschagne, Smith, Head. Whenever was required, everyone has scored at different point of times. There have been 50 scored all across. But I think these two batsmen, both the openers, one from England, one from Australia, Khwaja and Crawley, have been so consistent. I mean, two very different players, two very different strike rates for both the players. If you see, Khwaja has been the one who's playing around 50, 60s. He takes his time to settle in, still scores big. And Crawley has been completely opposite, scoring almost run a ball in most matches. A brilliant 180s, 187, 189 by him. And how good have these two been, with it?
Absolutely, Viraj, you mentioned the strike rate difference. I think Khwaja is 55, Crawley is 85. So, and Crawley started the Ashes series first ball 4 off Mitchell Stark. And what a, like, you see both of England's openers, a lot of criticism. People said Ben Duckett, Crawley will not play, will not even score 300 runs this Ashes series. Duckett scoring around 350 runs, Crawley scoring 480 runs. So both the English openers did well. And I believe Ollie Pope's injury after the first set did help them because they could play Moeen Ali up top. Then you had Root, you had Stokes, you had Harry Brook. Harry Brook, another player at 350, 400 runs. Amazing series once again in the test circuit. So I think Ollie Pope's injury helped them because it allowed them to play 4 pacers, allowed them to give that free hand to Stokes, to Moeen Ali. Stokes also scoring close to 400 runs, Root scoring 400 runs. So that brilliant batting by the openers. I think Warner struggled after the first test match. Today he scored a 50, but he struggled. But apart from that, Ben Duckett, Crawley, Khwaja, amazing series for all three. And Khwaja has the highest average among all batters in the last 3 years. Since he's come back as a regular in test, he's averaging 60 plus.
Certainly, and the great thing is, you see, because both the teams play such different brand of cricket. आप देखो इंग्लैंड एकदम completely different attacking mindset है, and वो openers तभी भी consistently run बना रहे हैं. On the other hand, Australia openers, they soak in the pressure. They are not going hard at the bowlers. They take their time. So to see both that style of cricket being played in the same match, and teams winning 2 games, the other team winning 2 games with completely different approaches. So happy to see the test matches being so good, so close. Because at the end of the day, you want to come back and see such matches. You want to see the last 10, 15, 20, 30 overs that things are, the ball is moving, great English conditions for the bowlers, things for the batsmen. They're getting the run, they're hitting the runs at a good pace. So very happy to see the test matches going on. Quickly
Whereas
coming to
England was scoring faster than India in the T20 or India in 1 days. What more do you need, yaar? Matlab, I personally rate this as a very, very good testimonial for Test cricket. I think England is helping us do that, helping all viewers, and they're winning. Yeah, it's not that people are criticizing that approach. Ki you just want to play attack cricket. How can you declare on day one of a Test match when Root is batting on a century? But you see their batting order. Be it Bairstow, be it Moeen Ali, be it Stokes, be it Harry Brook, be it both the openers, Crawley, Duckett. Yeah, everyone can hit at such rapid pace. And when you see Root batting, only player in England who will not bat at such strike rate, he'll probably play at a 50, 60 strike rate. But you see Root batting in this series, batting at 90, batting more than run a ball. Amazing. Yeah. I love the approach that
And
England is
with
playing
it,
with.
I think if you see what one thing that I noticed, especially in this series, is apart from, okay, not all Australian batsmen, but that English thing rubbed off on some of the Australian bats. If you see the way Smith batted, this is
Correct?
not the way how Smith normally
Yes.
bats. Smith, Head, Carey, all of them were batting in a way how England was batting. They knew that they can't maybe stick around and get those runs, so it was better off you runs, score quickly, because Smith had completely changed the way he normally plays in Test matches. While Labuschagne was playing his normal brand of cricket where he was sticking in,
And
scoring the
apart from the
runs,
fourth
Smith was
test, which ended in a
completely
draw,
different.
Labuschagne actually wasn't effective this series, but you're correct. that Smith adapted, because apart from that, only other player who could actually score freely is Travis Head. There's no one else in the Australian batting. Maybe Mitch Marsh, maybe Cameron Green to some extent. But I think Travis Head is the only proper batter who can actually score freely, score at a very rapid pace. Whereas in England, everyone did it. Yeah, everyone contributed. Bairstow contributing in 3-4 matches. His keeping was under pressure, but taking that crucial catch today of March, scoring rapidly. Stokes, amazing 150 he scored. Crawley, amazing 180, 190. Duckett also scoring runs. Harry Brook contributing and making sure England wins the third test match. So all round performance. I think this England team is playing India next, and it'll be seriously a challenge. Like I want to see how the baseball approach adapts against the Indian spinners, but it'll be a tough challenge.
Certainly, and I think, I mean, it's just so happy, looking at the scorecards. You see England, I mean, honestly, at the start of this test match, getting all out at 283 seemed, that England were in trouble. At one point in time, Australia again had gotten good start from their openers while Australia was batting, in the first innings as well. They had gotten some runs, good 40, 50. Labuschagne had stayed on. They were looking at a good pace. And एक time पे लग रहा था, that this match is already tilting in Australia's favor. But again, the way this match has turned out, England pulling it back, getting Australia out for 295, not letting
And
their
probably
tailenders
Australia
score a
shouldn't
lot of
have
runs.
even got a lead of 12 runs. Cummins and Murphy scored those 50, 60 runs. They got a lead. They should be lucky for that. And then England scoring 395, setting a target of 383. Australian openers doing that. Today, a lot of rain stoppage, probably going against Australia, but it saved them the fourth test match at Manchester, so you cannot blame the rain. They would have 100% lost that match. England was in a comfortable, I think, fourth test match, fourth innings is the only time when England or any team has dominated in the series, a clear domination. Rain affected it. But today, what a comeback, what a turnaround.
Certainly. Let's quickly talk about the two players who will be saying goodbye to the England setup with it. We've talked about Stuart Broad already. He has announced his retirement, 604 wickets in test matches. He's been a great servant. And then that one more talk about Moeen Ali with it, quickly coming on to him. He was called back because England didn't have Jack Leach. He was called out of retirement. And he has confirmed today that he will be going back into retirement and will not be attending Stokes messages if he ever comes back again. What are your thoughts on Moeen Ali with it?
Yeah, I thought Moeen could have played because England doesn't have an off spinner. Probably Stokes will start bowling off spin. But against India, you obviously need more spinners. Stokes has said if he
You
wants
mean
to play
Root?
longer, he'll bowl more spin, but probably Jack Leach will come as the primary spinner. But both Moeen, Broad, leading England off the field today after a win. Amazing thing, I think Broad especially, because 600 plus wickets, so England will surely miss both of them.
Certainly. And thank you so much for joining us today. With all, we'll come back again for the next series. We're looking forward to the next few matches coming up. Thank you so much for joining us and have a nice day.